I'm Donna Hetzler.
And I'm Sally Smith.
We, just like you, are bravely walking through the dark valleys of life in hopes of scaling joyful summits.
We believe that safe and trusted women are a force to be reckoned with. When we climb together, we can reach the mountaintop.
Many of our challenges come from feeling as if we are stuck while trying to ascend, hiding in crevices, waiting for storms to pass.
Might we suggest that you have a more proactive role in reaching the peaks of your own life?
Let's laugh at the untruths we were taught, from the common religious myths to the lies we believe about our situations and about ourselves.
It is our hope that our time together brings you solace from life's daily drudgery and a bit of lighthearted laughter.
This is a safe place where you are welcome, right where you are, even in your questions and doubts. So rise up, sister. It's time to conquer together.
And we certainly hope you'll say,
"Now that's funny."
Welcome to That's Funny. And here's your hostesses, Donna Hetzler and Sally Smith.
Welcome, everybody. We're on episode 4.
Finally!
I know, we're at 4. And our topic this month is God never gives us more than we can handle.
Now that's funny.
Let's just recap our practices.
Yes.
So first week we were talking about Ezekiel and his dry bones and God, only you know. And then the second week we talked about Job and all the trials and temptations that he had in his life and how he just worshiped God. And then the third is God instructing us to speak.
Yes, those really blended well
I
this
know.
week.
They did. So how did it go for you with the practices?
They're hard,
Right?
Because I actually have to implement them and change my life, which is very difficult. So, but yes, I want to transform. I want to be more Christ-like, and so I'm utilizing this practice each week as we blend them all together to join you in your journey as well. And I'm seeing transformation. So I went back to the last scripture in Ezekiel that Ezekiel? No, we're calling him Zeke. Hey, Zeke. We're going back to Zeke, and when God said, prophesy, and these bones will live, and you'll know that I am the Lord. And so I just spent some time in prayer saying, okay, Lord, what is it that I need to prophesy into my own life? Where am I missing the mark? I've been working on control, but he knows that's going to be like a whole lifetime journey for me. So I'm like, is there something specific, a little easier that I can work on? And it was contentment. He showed me the word content. And so I am speaking into my own life like, Donna, you are content in this situation. You are content in the right now. We don't have tomorrow.
I love that. That's a good one. I'm excited also to hear everybody's comments on how the practices are going for you. So just keep those comments coming.
Yes, we want to hear more. And if you have ideas for us and topics, please let us know. Like, subscribe, and share with your friends. So we're going to kind of hop into, I know we've done these sprinklings of stories, parts of your stories. Right. And we tried to start at the beginning, and Sally's story is so long. So we're going to there's so much to it. There's so moving. It's like a really good drama. Now that's funny.
Now that is funny.
So we're going to keep sharing more of the story as it goes along, but we want to kind of wrap it up so you can kind of see an arching view about how it kind of mirrors Job's story.
Right,
I think.
Exactly. So, let's just go back to when we first talked about I was pregnant and the doctor gave me the option, to terminate because there was so much health issues with the baby, and of course my answer was no.
And the doctor told you that your baby probably wouldn't live past the age of 10, right?
Yep. So that was kind of more when we got going, knowing his story. But we went back to when he was having trouble breathing, and he saw Jesus, and we had to rush him to the hospital. And through that time, I was yelling at God, like, you better be with him and not taking him, pointing my
You're
finger.
Italian.
Yeah, I'm not Italian, I'm not like you, but I was pointing that finger.
Yeah.
So, we had that, and then the journey just kept going. It affected his heart. It affected his brain. We had 3 brain surgeries. We were told he wouldn't make it past the age of 10. There's so much more to this story that, like you said, we will sprinkle in as we go. But, you know, here we are as parents feeling like Job. You know, I'm like, okay, what is going to happen today?
Right.
That's kind of how I felt. It was every day, it was something. It was some type of test, some type of temptation. And then, you know, we kind of get to a point where I feel like I can breathe. And I started having seizures, just out of the blue, for no reason, just started having them. So here I am trying to take care of a sick child, and then I have this on top of working, on top of everything else that we have to do, and I'm having these seizures, and you know, it's just like, really? Really?
Yeah.
Do you really need to add this onto my plate?
Right.
And you know, that was a point in time for me where there was some temptation, where I really didn't want to live anymore.
Yeah.
I really didn't want to go on. I didn't want to live that way. It was every day afraid, you know, what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
So that kind of ties into temptation.
Right. Yeah. Your temptation at times was, do you want to live through this? And if you're listening today and you're in that dark, dark spot, whether you're struggling with depression or ending your life, we just want to encourage you, first of all, that there is more to your story. There's more to your story, and only you can make the decisions about your life. But we want you to know that God put you here for such a time as this. And maybe, just maybe, you can consider that He has more for you beyond today, and that He's put you here for a very specific reason that only you can fill. And that's how I feel about you. You know, when you were in that dark time, only you could fulfill things, and you're still seeing that God's purposes through a family member that has just come to light and doing all these great things, and it's because of your influence, and that would have never transformed. I mean, God can use other people, but I feel like this particular situation that I'm thinking of,
Right.
only Miss Sally could have made this happen within her own family. And so if you're out there today, just consider that maybe you were sent. I know that you were sent for such a time as this, and to do very special and divine things. But it reminds me of 2 Corinthians 1, 8, and 9. I'm going to just read that to you really quick. And let's see if I can find it. So it is with Paul, and they're out spreading the gospel, and they've just been through so many trials. And it says, Paul writes, "The burden laid on us was so far beyond what we could bear that we even despaired of living through it. In our hearts, we felt we were under sentence of death." This is what Paul is going through is more than he can handle.
Right.
So can you imagine like one of his disciples next to him going, "Don't worry, God doesn't give you anything more than you can handle."
No.
And then Paul goes, "Now that's funny." No, I'm just kidding. But there are things that come in our lives that are way more than we can handle. And so, yeah, it's...
Well, for me, it's kind of, as you're talking about Paul, it's kind of easy for me to compare my situation
Yes.
with Paul, you know, like, and then you get to the point where you're like, well, I don't have it as bad,
So bad.
as
Yeah.
so-and-so. But, you know, that's not what we want to hear either.
Right.
Each of our journeys are unique. Each of our journeys are special, and each of our journeys are important.
Right, and we've got to own them and live them and not compare to our sisters, because there's always going to be someone who's got it worse than us. But we've just got to live through our experiences and see what God is doing in all of that. Like, we've walked a lot of life with different women doing our Jericho Girls ministries. We've walked with women in addiction, loss, big losses, you know, child, husbands, finances. We have a friend who was in human trafficking. She was sold into human trafficking, homeless on the streets, widowed,
Yeah.
right? Health issues. So we've walked with a lot of sisters through a lot of things, and we just can't compare our journeys
Right.
to one another. They're all uniquely ours, and we got to own it.
But how do we press on when we're weary? Because for me, I just go in my bed and cover myself up with my covers, and that's what I do. But that's not what we should do, right? I mean, there are times that we need that.
Sure.
But how do we press on when we're weary?
We get in our beds and cover our heads. Well, I'm thinking of our dear sister Susie, Susie Stewart, who lost her life before she was 50 to cancer. She fought her battle. She spoke at one of our Overwhelmed conferences, and she distinctly said, and I'll probably not say it as articulate as her, but she's like, I intentionally did not miss my desert time.
I remember when she said that.
And just being intentional and like just following Jesus, keeping your eye on what he has purposed for you, and then just walking through it and owning it and making your journey uniquely yours and embracing what God gives you. So that is one thing that comes to mind. But 3 things I think we walk in faith, and we ask, we ask the right questions, and we just love. And sometimes that's just sitting next to one another and shutting up and just being silent. Like, don't say something that's going to make me want to punch you in the face. I don't know. So that's what I think. Walk, ask, and love. But I can remember 3 distinct times in my desert journey, my decade of desert journey. And one memory that God brought to mind was you were having a rough time. Another friend was having a rough time. You both came over.
Yes, I remember.
And I had no idea what to do or say. And so I got out my finest teacups. I have these cute little pastel teacups. And I made us the finest tea.
Yes.
And I came out and I says, the Queen says there's no bad days. It was something like that.
It was something like that.
Yeah. And so we just had tea together. Like, we just sat and listened to one another and had tea. And that's what we needed in that moment. The other thing was when I was going through a very dark time and I called you and you said, sister, I'm getting in my car right now. I'm coming to be with you because I don't want you to be alone. Mm-hmm. And then another memory was when I called you in tears and I said, I can't do tonight. We had a big function going. And you said to me, I will call everybody in the family and tell them that Christmas Eve is off. And that
I remember that day.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Just those little things. So that's what we need to do together.
Oh, that's getting my heart going.
Yeah.
But in this, so God does give us more than we can handle.
Yes.
But how we walk through that, how we are our true selves through that, I think is what is most important.
Yes, absolutely. And hopefully we've given you some skills or some things to at least think about when you're journeying with your fellow brothers and sisters that are going through trials. And so are you facing a huge trial or suffering today? Hopefully this will help you, or you can use these tools to help somebody else that you're walking with. So
yes. Well, thanks for journeying with us on this 4th episode. Don't forget to do the practices. The dry bones with Ezekiel, God all-knowing, Job, give it away, worship, and God instructing you to just speak.
yes, and we'll have a new topic.
We'll have a new topic.
We were
I'm
both
excited.
going to say it, yeah.
But we're not going to tell them what the new topic is. It's a secret.
Yep, and I'm going to leave you with this quote. I love this from Alan Watts that says, you are under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago. We are all transforming. And I'm going to add to that, you are no longer under the obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago, especially if you're walking towards Christ. So don't give up. Keep the faith. And don't believe the lie that God never gives you more than you can handle. Now that's funny.
From the heavens high above, I feel the touch of his laughter and love. In every moment, tear and smile, God's humor is heard, every step, every mile. Keep walking, dear sister, you've got this.